guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and today we are ranking all of the palettes that I tried in the month of December. I know we're a week into January already, but I wanted to share with you guys the 12 palettes I used in December and kind of how they stacked up against each other. If that sounds interesting to you, keep on watching. Before we get too far into the video, if you haven't already, I hope you consider subscribing. I upload twice a week. It's totally free to subscribe, and I would love to have you back again on the channel in the future. Alright, let's get into the ranking. So if you're new here for these rankings, some of it's new stuff in my collection, but it's not just new stuff I tried for the month. It's just everything eyeshadow palette wise I used for the month. And this is a good way for me to not only like incorporate old palettes, but also to see if the new stuff I'm bringing in, does it stack up, or how does it stack up against older palettes that I already like have and keep and know that I like. So at number 12 is a teensy tiny little palette. I actually had this in my top like mini palette video. I'll leave that linked in any videos that I have using these palettes on my channel in the cards and or down below in the description if I run out of room in the cards here. But this is the Beige Cosmetics Foil Eyes to Go 6 color eyeshadow palette. Let me zoom in a little bit better actually so you can see these. There we go. So here is the palette. It's just a little 6-pan here, and I got this I think in an Ipsy a long time ago. I doubt you can even get this. The quality's fine, but it is an all shimmer palette. Obviously I've used a couple of these shades. I've hit pan multiple times, but it's just not like a color story to me. I can't use this by itself unless I'm using one shade, or I think I've combined those two shades, that like pinky and brown, a lot. But I've like not used this blue at all, so I'm gonna have to do something and get it together, like find matte brown or something to use that at some point, because this is one that I would like to like completely use up the palette and just cycle out and get rid of. The formula's fine, but again, just kind of boring, not something you can get anymore, super old, like needs to be used up and gone out of the collection. So that's why it's ranked the lowest. In number 11, this kind of surprised me and I hated putting it here, but it just, like with everything else I used this month, it's just where it landed up. So the Nomad America's Parks palette is in number 11. I did 3 looks with this palette this month and did a video. Here it is. You can't get it individually, but you can still get it on Nomad's site in their Vault bundle. They posted and said I think that they have like 24 left, so you might want to snag it soon if you haven't yet and you do want it. And it wasn't bad. It was not, guys, don't get me wrong. It just didn't blow me away, I don't think. And I think they're discontinuing it because it is like one of their older ones, not their oldest, still on their site, but they've had other stuff with, I think, maybe possibly more impressive formulas since then. So again, it's not terrible by any means, but like it was just okay. And some of the stuff higher up in the ranking is way better than okay. In number 10 is the other Nomad Cosmetics palette I used this month. I have quite a few I'm working through right now because I did place a pretty big Black Friday order from them. This one I just liked slightly more, even though it is maybe some people might think more of a boring color story. It is very fall, but something about like these minty greens and some of the cool tones I really enjoyed. Even the warm tones, like I did a look one day and went over and hung out with my family and my parents and used this portion of it, and my brother was like, your eyes look like rust, which I mean, I guess that was a compliment, you know. Sometimes non-makeup people don't know how to describe things, that's fine, but it just, they're really rich, great fall tones, which I know we're like pretty much close to being in the dead of winter, but you can wear whatever colors you want, whatever time of year, guys. I was reaching, like I said, for these just to try it because I just got it in from Black Friday, and I just love kind of like off-tone greens like that. So I didn't rank it any higher because it does only have 3 shimmers, and Nomad's shimmer formula has never been particularly blow my socks off away to me. Like I always have to use it with a glitter primer just to feel like I can get what I want out of it instead of like it being that way on its own. For example, the eyeshadow I'm wearing right now is from the Gourmande Girls Spooked palette, and I don't need to use a glitter primer with that. Like it's as sparkly and opaque and wonderful as I want without that. So that's why this one's at number 10. In number 9 from Gimme Glow Cosmetics, we have the Sweet and Sticky palette. Kind of an oldie but a goodie, right? So I think I used this one actually on Christmas Eve or Christmas, something like that. I can't remember. I think it was my Get Ready With Me that I posted. I'll have to look in the description to remember for sure. So here is, and you might say, okay, well, you were just talking about bland and basic and, you know, whatever type stuff with some of your bottom one and color stories and all of that, but the formula of this one is good enough that with it even just having these few shades, they're very high quality. Like the mattes are wonderful. This is definitely a thing you could do the 1-2 out the door with. And the smoothness of their shimmers, like this one, I used this highlighter as well. Amazing. I actually, and I've said this before on my channel, I'm not a huge fan of how big the pan sizes are for Give Me Glow. Like it would take me like, I'd have to use this exclusively for probably like a year to even be able to get through how big these pan sizes are, but that's what they've always done for their palettes. It is what it is, but the quality makes this one really nice, really high if you just want something neutral and basic ready to go. Like I said, with this one, like having to grab some sort of brown or something and pair with the blue, this honestly would probably be a really good match together. So maybe I will actually put those together right now and try to encourage myself to use that a bit more. But there's no special shiftiness, even though the shimmers are really smooth and the mattes are limited in color story, even though they are very high quality mattes. So that's why it's not ranked any higher. Number 8, we have the Lunar Beauty Nude Prism. So this one, I think the shimmers are where it's at. The mattes are really nice. I've even used a few of these like blush tones as blush before, just trying to be like, where's a blush? Oh, that one's orange. It's not gonna match my look. I need something else. And I've gone in with this and it works really well. Again, this is really good for special events. I use these shimmers a lot just to like, I don't know, these are really good almost to like tap on over top of, even if you have like a lackluster shimmer and you just want to amp it up, like these are really nice. There's another one that I think is even nicer than this one in this palette ranking coming up, but I do really like this one. It does provide more variety than the sticky and the sweet and sticky one from Give Me Glow, just because it does have more depth and some rosy tones in there and some more shimmers, so that's why it's ranked higher, but still not my absolute favorite neutral, so it's not ranked any higher. So here's my favorite neutral palette right now, and it's from Il Makiage. It's the Kathleen Lights collab, and this is, what is this called? The Disco Fox palette. Mine looks like this because you got to customize it with stickers and things if you wanted to, but this is my actual like, yes, go-to glam, consistent every time, love it. I have now dipped into more shimmers. Like I was playing it safe and just going with these every single time, and I had said like I want to use more of these like peachy purpley tones on the side here, and I still haven't gone peach and purple, but I did delve into this like darker shimmer and do a little bit more with that and a berry look, and I really liked how that turned out, and I've just not been disappointed a single time this one. It's been amazing. I don't even know if you can get this one anymore. It is quite pricey, I will say, but I've been actually getting good use out of it. So to me, I'm like, okay, if it's pricey, at least I'm using it, right? How many times do we get something, not even just in beauty, because it's on sale, but then it's like the quality's not that great? So for me, I'm getting to the point where I would rather almost have like fewer pieces and have them be really nice quality than have a bunch of just okay stuff. That's kind of where I'm personally getting. So this one's here, but it doesn't have the shifty goodness that I love in some of the ones ranked higher in this. All right, and number 6 from Unearthly Cosmetics is the Hauntingly Glamorous palette. And I did see right now they are running this on like their sale clearance section, so they may be getting rid of it. And I think they're running a special that if you get $50 or more from their clearance, it's 25% off. Some such thing like that. Check their Instagram if you want more info. Here's the palette if you haven't seen it. I do really like this color story. I don't think these two shimmers are great at all. They don't stand up to the Unearthly Cosmetics formula that I know. It is what it is, but the mattes are great. The mattes are great. These I like better as inner corner and face highlights than I do all over the lid personally, but the mattes are amazing, and I love that there's dark mattes and murky things and kind of unusual tones paired with these more like pastel-y blue and green. So it's really fun, and the color story is great because the shimmers are just so is why it's not ranked any higher. In 5th place, we have from Saints, Angels, Sinners, the Coco palettes. This one, it doesn't look like much. I don't feel like on initial like looking at it. I don't know, maybe it does, but it's so fun. It's so fun. I love this shade and this shade. I was kind of worried at pairing them with these other ones, but I do think they are a little more sheer and less pigmented on the eye than they do look in the pan, which for me in this particular example, like that might sound like a bad thing, but I actually like that for this palette. But then some of these like murkier tones I think are more true to the saturation you see in the palette. The shimmers really for this one, they blew me away. Some of them just look like a gold only, but it's more of, well, to me it looks gold. I think it looks more pinky to you on camera, but they are super shifty. Or like this one, you can see the shift. It looks more like gold or neutral champagne, but it's got green in it. So the shifts on some of these are just really surprising and fun, and they are kind of like that putty shimmer, more like formula, but this one's really nice. I'm not sure. That's the one thing I'll say about Saints, Angels, Sinners that isn't my favorite. You can never count on stuff. I feel like to be in their shop, they're always changing stuff, and it seems like stuff comes and goes really quickly. So I don't think Coco's in there anymore, but they do have a lot of variety and a lot of options of different shadows, and they're really consistent formulas. So and I think anything you get will be a similar good formula. It's just a matter of what the color stories, or if it's all shimmers, or the matte to shimmer ratio is currently available in the Etsy shop that they have. 4th place from What's Up Beauty. This is the first time I tried this brand, you guys. The Desert Monsoon palette. I bought the geodes as well, but I haven't tried that one yet. And here it is. It's so nice. The first time I used this palette, I did something very neutral, just with like the browns and like this shimmer and this shimmer. And I was like, this is okay, it's fine, like it's working the way it should. It's not patchy or anything, but it was like, it's a traditional like satiny shimmer. It's not special or anything crazy. And I was like, it's fine, but whatever. I'm not blown away. But then wait, the second time I used it, I went into this sunshade, which is kind of green. Hopefully you can see the shift there, but it's also one of those like greeny brown duochromes. And I haven't tried the other shades, but I think that these purples, it kind of looks like are gonna be that same situation where there's a little bit of a shift when you turn it between like pink to purple or purple to blue with those. So I think those are going to be the special shades in this, and probably the like more rose tone desert rose and this are going to be more for like highlighter, inner corner, those types of things for me personally. Not that there's nothing wrong with doing like a regular shimmer look like that. Honestly, that's what I do a lot on my day-to-day off camera for work, just because it's quick and easy to get out the door. But I was very blown away by some of those shimmer shades. They're not like putty feeling either, like some of them are. And like this packaging's pretty cool too. So definitely curious to see what else this brand has to offer, and definitely gonna use ASAP that Geodes, the other color story from this brand, because I liked it so much. In number 3, this is one of the older indie brand palettes in my collection. You can see it still says Alien Cosmetics. This is from Unearthly now, and this is the Lore palette. I fell in love with indie brands from this. Like, this is the one. I think they have circle pans on this now. It's not even the square ones anymore. But these were some of the first like duochromes and shifty shades I ever used, and this is what made me fall in love, like I said, with indie brands, was a palette like this. Sphinx, Serpent, and Medusa are some of the coolest shifty shades I feel like I have in my collection. Obviously, years later, I'm still pulling this one out, and it's ranked number 3 in this ranking, so it's still holding up to the test of time against other things. I like this one better than the other Unearthly palette that came out later even, so I hope that more of their stuff is like this, because there have been a few recently from Unearthly that have been like, I'm good, I'll pass. I did purchase though the Valentine's Day mystery box from them. I know I'm supposed to be in a low buy, but like the Halloween one was so good that I was like, I cannot pass this up. I can't, because again, it's gonna be all like exclusive items that they're doing. So I got a notification today actually, or was it yesterday, that it shipped. So there will definitely be a video of that soon. I think instead of just unboxing it, I'm gonna unbox and apply all in one video instead of separating it like last time. But that's neither here nor there. This palette's amazing. You can still get it. I highly recommend it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Kind of a funky color story, so that might push you out of your comfort zone, but I like that kind of thing. I get bored with neutrals sometimes. So yeah, this is amazing. The other two, I just like this much more. Okay, number 2 is from Adept Cosmetics, the Heather Austin palette. I've said before, and it still remains true, this is my favorite shimmer formula of all time. And yeah, I just didn't reach for it a ton of times this month. I did several times. It's not a super wintry fall color story, it's more like fall, I guess, but I hope you can see as I'm moving it around here some of the cool shifts in some of these shades. It's just really a fun palette. And there are some more like neutrally things you can do with it. This is great, love it so much. I love the like leathery feeling packaging. I really want to get Minka and the face palettes, but again, I'm trying so hard to be good, you guys. I really truly am. It might not seem like it, but I am. And this one's ranked number 2 just because number 1 I reached for so many times this month. And finally, number 1, the most used, honestly, palette for me in December. And it's great. I think if you have it, you'll agree with me. Number 1 from Odins Eye, the Odins Eye collab with Angelia and Nyqvist. I pulled this out earlier in December when Wes and I did our collab. I'll leave that linked if you haven't seen it, where he was guessing if things were affordable or expensive, and we did the last giveaway. I pulled this out then because I hadn't used it in a while, and I never put it away. I never did, and I kept reaching for it because it kind of made me remember like, oh yeah, this is really nice. This is really great. And that's what I love about these monthly rankings, is it helps me to bring palettes out again. I did a lot more with the pink stuff this month. Usually I do the green. I don't usually combine the pink and the green. And I did a lot more with the pink this month, and was like, oh, I haven't really used these pink shades that much. Let's change this. And I used double-sided, the multi-chrome, actually a lot as a highlighter, which I'm not wearing any right now actually. So let's just pop a little on together and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to take a highlighter brush here and just dip into double-sided. Okay, ready? It looks so good. And I think it looks good like on top of blush. It's a little bit of like a blush topper-y highlighter. And it is a multi-chrome, so it kind of shifts like pink and gold and peach. And I think it looks really good, and it's very smooth as a face highlighter. So it's multi-purpose too, and I haven't used this pink. You probably could, it's pretty baby pink. You probably could use that as blush too if you wanted to, but it's just really a nice formula. It's a cool color story. I love the multi-chrome. Yeah, I just reached for it, like I said, more than the other palettes this month, so I felt like I had to rank it number 1 because of that. So yeah guys, that's all of the palettes I used in the month of December. Let me know in the comments below, guys, please, because it would be a lot of work for me to do it, but I've been considering doing a ranking where I rank all of the palettes I tried for the first time in 2022. Would you be interested in seeing that? Let me know yes or no, either way, in the comments down below. It wouldn't be a ranking of all the palettes I used in 2022. I feel like that would be so insane. Like I could, but with a full-time job on top of this, like I just don't see myself having time enough to do that. It just is what it is. But I think I could rank the palettes that I tried for the first time, like ones that just came into my collection this year. Would you be interested in seeing that? Let me know yes or no in the comments down below. Otherwise, I'll just stick with the monthly rankings, and you know, we'll be back for the month of January at the end of the month. Thanks so much if you made it all the way to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.